Hello folks, and welcome back to another Wildfire update for the 2024 season. Now just since I've uploaded that first segment, there's been a whole lot of wildfire activity plaguing the US, including Alaska and Canada, but more specifically, the Park Fire in Northern California, which I'm fairly confident that most of you have already heard about by now. According to CAL FIRE, the Park Fire is an active wildfire burning in both Butte and Tehama counties, Northern California. The fire originated from Upper Bidwell Park near Chico due to an arson incident on July 24th of 2024. Now since this time, the fire has grown rapidly despite suppression efforts, forcing thousands to evacuate from multiple communities. As of August 15th of 2024, the Park Fire has burned nearly 450,000 acres, has destroyed 641 structures, and is only about 45% contained. Meanwhile, the footprint of the fire continues to expand deep into both the Ishi Wilderness and Alaska National Forest. So in this segment, I'll be focusing primarily on the Park Fire, which is currently ranked the 4th largest wildfire in California history, trailing behind the Mendocino Complex of 2018, the Dixie Fire of 2021, the August Complex of 2020, and of course, the infamous Camp Fire of 2018, which was both the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California history. So what I'd like to do now is switch gears and go over some more facts and statistics about the Park Fire so that we know what both firefighters and Mother Nature are up against. So what I'd like to do now is go ahead and read you some information that I've gathered from various online sources about the Park Fire. The Park Fire is the largest wildfire of California's 2024 wildfire season, the 4th largest in California history, the 2nd largest single-source wildfire as compared to a wildfire complex with multiple ignition points, and the largest ever caused by arson in the state. As of August 15, 2024, the fire has burned 429,000 acres and is 40% contained. Fire suppression operations have cost approximately $175 million to date, and that's not including all the damage costs. July of 2024 was California's hottest month ever recorded, stoked by a heat wave almost 2 weeks in duration and focused on the interior of the state. Areas in this vicinity of the fire endured temperatures of 100 plus during the week before it began. Evaporative demand, a measure of the atmosphere's capability to draw water out of vegetation and other sources of moisture, increased across much of the state, and particularly so in the Central Valley areas, indicating an increase in fire danger. California had already endured an active beginning to the 2024 fire season. Butte County, where the Park Fire began, has witnessed several of the state's largest, deadliest, and most destructive wildfires. The Camp Fire in 2018, the North Complex Fire in 2020, and the Dixie Fire in 2021, all burned at least partially within Butte County. The topography of the county ranges from the flat Central Valley in the west to the forested Sierra Nevada of the east, with grasslands, oak woodlands, and chaparral landscapes in between. Hot and dry summer weather, fire-receptive vegetation, and large roadless areas help enable wildfires in the region. Approximately 40% of Butte County and 41% of Tehama County have burned in wildfires since 2000. Now the Park Fire began near Upper Park Road in Upper Bidwell Park inside the city limits of Chico and Butte County. Bidwell Park is a large municipal park and recreational area that stretches from Chico itself into the foothills of the Sierra Nevada. Authorities believe the fire's ignition to have been an intentional act. Shortly before 3 p.m. on Wednesday, July 24th, Chico resident Ronnie Dean Stout II, driving his mother's 2007 Toyota Yaris, pulled it over to the side of the road in the Upper Park area and then went over a berm. The car became stuck in grass and Stout revved the engine to try and free it, setting the grass beneath it on fire. Eyewitness accounts assert that Stout instead put it in neutral, then pushed the burning vehicle backwards off the embankment, whereupon it fell approximately 60 feet and landed in a ravine. The car continued to burn, and the flames spread to nearby vegetation. Witnesses then state that they saw Stout running away from the fire and joining the crowd to try to blend in. California Highway Patrol investigators later examined the car and found that it was neutral. Stout was arrested at 1:30 a.m. the following day on July 25th, 10.5 hours after the fire's ignition. The Park Fire is the largest arson-caused wildfire in California's history. The Park Fire ignited at 2:52 p.m. on July 24th on Bidwell Park's eastern edge. It was first spotted near Upper Park Road. The first firefighting personnel on the scene reported a fire of 4 to 5 acres. From its ignition point, the fire spread north, burning some of the park's eastern portion. Evacuations in areas northeast of Chico began around 9 p.m. Residents of Cohasset, a community several hundred, found themselves unable to leave when flames overran the way. One convoy of about 150 folks eventually made their way out to California State Route 32 via logging roads. A second group of around 100 folks, led by SPI employees, made their way via more logging roads north to California State Route 36 from Upper Cohasset Road. The burned area increased to nearly 7,000 acres by 10:15 p.m. on the 24th. As it spread north, the fire established itself in the Ishi Wilderness, an area with very little history of wildfire activity. As the Park Fire continued to spread north, the fire established itself in the Ishi Wilderness, an area with little history of wildfire activity. Heavy vegetation cover and few easy access routes for ground-based firefighting personnel. So far, there have been no reported deaths in association with the Park Fire. At least 3 firefighters sustained heat-related injuries. The fire has destroyed 641 structures and damaged 52 others. The fire burned the majority of the Big Chico Creek Ecological Reserve, a 7,800-acre property owned and used for educational purposes by Chico State University. Multiple buildings in this area were destroyed, including a historic barn and other university offices. An unknown number of structures burned in the community of Cohasset, which took a direct hit from the fire. The fire is threatening a further 10,800 structures. California Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency for the areas affected in Butte and Tehama counties. Shasta County declared a local state of emergency on July 31st of 2024. More than 4,000 folks were subject to evacuation orders, including the entire community of Cohasset. On July 27th, Lassen Volcanic National Park closed to the public and evacuated all employees from park housing, citing fears that the fire could spread upon the national park's western side, including Manzanita Lake and park headquarters in the community of Mineral. Drifting smoke from the Park Fire caused officials in Reno, Nevada to issue an air quality emergency on July 30th, when air quality indices reached unhealthy levels. Environmental scientists and officials fear that the park fire will negatively impact endangered populations of spring run Chinook salmon in Tehama's County's Mill Creek and Deer Creek watersheds. Firefighting operations may introduce fire retardant, which is toxic to fish, into waterways, and post-fire rains may wash sediments and debris into water, causing algae blooms, suffocating fish, or blocking parts of the river. Now, as we continue to watch the park fire evolve, I'll continue to provide future updates on this or any other major wildfires yet to make an appearance. There's a whole lot of hot and dry weather coming up, so I anticipate some new activity before too long. Thanks for watching, folks, and you'll hear from me soon.